Everything had a purpose. It was not just put there. It had a purpose. And I might say to each of you, you have a purpose too. You are made in God's image as men and a young lady. You are made with a purpose. Your purpose may be different than mine. I know many of you want to be gospel preachers, and I think that's a great thing. But the main thing that I would want for all of you is for you to be Christians, to follow the Lord Jesus in every way. And if you're going to preach, you must be a Christian. You must be one who follows Christ. You deny yourself, you take up your cross daily, and you follow him. And that's what every Christian is asked to do. I'm going to be reading from the New King James, and verse 24 is where we are dealing with these things. He says, Then God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind. And again, we have kinds. According to its kind, cattle and creeping thing, he says, and beast of the earth, each according to its kind, and it was so. The word for beast is behemoth. Someone says, well, where are the elephants and other large creatures like that, buffaloes and various other types of things? The word behemoth would include that type of person. Good to see you, Techi. We're glad you're here. Would include that kind of an animal. Now, again, these things, cattle and beast and creeping things, these are groups of animals, various, and not just one particular animal. So we're happy to mention that and to help get it right. God saw this and it was good. Everything God made, he said it was good. And this will be important as we get into the lesson a little bit later on. Then God said, Let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Man was given a place in God's economy, in God's world, that no other creature, created thing, was given. He was first of all made in the image of God, number one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And number two, he was given dominion over everything. At this particular point, of course, the food that the people ate was mostly plant kind of food. Later on, of course, it will be animals that are given, although they are limited which animals they can eat and not. It says, So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them, male and female. Here he talks about them, of course, both being created on that sixth day. He said to the male and female, Then God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, See, I have given you every, and then he uses the word herb, of course, a plant type thing. I've given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed to you, it shall be for food. So at that particular point, they were going to be vegetarians and gardeners and people who, of course, tended to trees. And also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food, and it was so. And then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now you have this, again, the idea of the days that are mentioned, each of them, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth day. All of these, of course, were given the way they were. On that first day, of course, there was the really making of the heavens and the earth, and also bringing some organization to it. all of the things that took place. The second day, where they parted the waters from the land. The third day, you have plant life. Fourth day, you have the sun and the moon, and then you have more that is created. And then on the fifth day, the fish and the birds, and the sixth day, there were the other animals, and there was mankind. I hope I got all that right. I sometimes forget my wife is better at that ratio than I am about remembering what's on each day. But you can see the progression that God had, and that man was at the very top, that he was the most important and the one that would be there. Now, the commandment is given to them that they were to be fruitful. This is verse 28. Be fruitful and multiply. Here is the command to propagate the earth, to fill the earth. It is not a refilling of it, but a filling of it to begin with. And previous translations, some of them use the word replenish the earth. Well, the earth had not been replenished to begin with. You can't replenish something that hasn't had it. And really, the word in Hebrew is the word for fill, to fill the earth. Not Phil, my name, but Fill, to fill the earth. And that's what they were to do. And so, one of the things that I think is important is to make sure that the word just simply means that. Every plant, every herb, that may be the New King James, but the word is every plant, and that would include all of them. The vegetation that was there is for food. And of course, God ends by saying that everything was not good. It was indeed very good. What God created was very good, all of it. And all of it was created intentionally with design. Everything had a purpose. It was not just put there, it had a purpose. And I might say to each of you, you have a purpose too. You are made in God's image as men and a young lady. You are made with a purpose. Your purpose may be different than mine. I know many of you want to be gospel preachers, and I think that's a great thing. But the main thing that I would want for all of you is for you to be Christians, to follow the Lord Jesus in every way. And if you're going to preach, you must be a Christian. You must be one who follows Christ. You deny yourself, you take up your cross daily, and you follow him. And that's what every Christian is asked to do. That was said to the multitude, to the crowd, to everybody in Luke chapter 9, verse 23. And he gave us the food, the ability to live, to be able to have what we need in order to do that. Now let's get into chapter 2 and verse 1. And he says, thus the heavens and the earth and all the host of them were finished. Everything was finished at that particular point. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. And he blessed the seventh day. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, set it apart. That's what the word sanctify means, to set apart for a holy purpose. That's what he did. He set it apart. And because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. Now, that's an important thing that he mentions, those things. 7 days is a really pretty short time. I've done many things for 7 days, and sometimes shorter trips and sometimes longer trips than that. But here you have a basis for the 7 days. Now, whenever you have Moses coming back to that, and it may have been one of the reasons why it's mentioned so early in the livelihood of men, is because later on Israel is going to look back on this history and say, well, this is the reason why we do the things that we do and why we rest on the seventh day. It's not later until we find it called the Sabbath day. but Israel was to have this. And it's very interesting that as we mentioned in Exodus chapter 20, from verse 8 to 11, when it talks about the Sabbath day and how he rested on those days, that when you think about the word day, yom, that they had an understanding of just a normal 24-hour period day. And of course, we talked about the daylight and night. Yes, Nathan.
Oh, I was just going to comment on it. It's kind of, we look at all that the evening. God basically sets the precedence on how we keep time, even though we got people that want to deny him. We still keep time by the standard that he set because, I mean, it's not in the evening, but midnight, it's at night, and that's when the day starts. It
Mm.
doesn't start at 6 a.m. And I've talked to doctors before that have dealt with people that get sick a lot, that would just work, 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 work. And that's one thing they said. If you work, 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 and you never take time to rest, your body will literally make you rest. And it's kind of
It's yeah.
it's unique that God kind of is showing man, hey, you need a day to slow down and rest. Because we know
Yeah.
God didn't need to rest.
No, he didn't. And the word rest is the concept I was going to get into this, of the idea of ceasing from a certain labor. In other words, he had other things to do. And so he ceased from the task of creating and making things and put his mind to the things. He was happy he had finished that task.